Ask Dan Schneider. Nancy B. asks me, I saw your video on John Berryman's The Ball poem, and I wanted to know what you thought of that poem. Well, obviously, I think it's a great poem. Someone recently had written me after I sent some poems to them saying that a poem of mine called The Balls of a One-Armed Juggler was a greater poem. And it probably is in the sense that it does deal with more. But there's an acuteness to Berryman's poem. And Berryman's poem probably could be trimmed by a few lines. I'd probably trim out a few of the metaphors too. But there's such a plangence of the idea of the first loss of something. An unspecified boy's ball goes bouncing down into the sewer, and it's presumed to have gone out into the harbor, and the boy is coming to grips with the first moment of loss, and every person, male or female, has that moment. And so it's a moment in the poem that is not unique, but it is something that everyone deals with in a deep way and in a different way. It reminds me to a small extent of the James Emanuel poem to the Prospect School, 4th grade, Why I Became a Poet. I believe that's the title. I might be off. These poems that deal with childhood. I did a poem called War that in a similar way has that kind of childhood quality. Incident by County Cullen is the other one. Once riding through old Baltimore, head filled, heart filled with glee, I spied a Baltimorean looking straight at me. Now I was 8 and he was something. And anyway, I've done. I used to be able to memorize the poem and read it off the top of my head, but I also did a poem video on that poem, and that's a great poem too. These poems that get one inside these universal experiences and do so in ways different enough to engage the very personal in you, the unique aspect of how you engage something in that universal manner. Those are the poems that are great. Those are poems that can even survive a little excess, a little maybe sophomoric writing, or a little, edge towards sentimentality, because they do have that deep plangence. So anyway, thank you for the question, and I'll do another Ask Dan Schneider shortly.